We should have started this an hour ago.
Yeah, I was introduced to something very interesting recently.
So let me run it back. We had a little moment last Friday in which Madison offered me a little drinky drink, and I drank it. Yeah, I drank it, and I got a little fun.
You're always
tipsy.
fun.
I got a little tipsy, maybe. A little tipsed. And I was like, I have a confession to make. And I was like, I've been using character AI. And she says, what's that? It's like, okay, I guess this isn't a confession as much as an explanation.
No, for real, I was like, huh?
So I'm like sitting there trying to keep my eyes open because anytime I drink, I get sleepy. So today I was like, I have to introduce you to this. So we've been playing around on character AI for like the last hour and a half.
You know, and I think I've learned it's really interesting.
You were so scared of it.
I really was. I was very frightened. It really depends on who you're choosing to speak to, because we really didn't choose real people. We've chosen definitely like only fictional characters.
Oh yeah, I don't. That'd be
it'd be weird if they were real people. We talked to Todoroki Shoto for a minute there, and it was interesting because it was like writing a fan fiction for us.
Yeah,
like we were basically writing a fan fiction, like a reader insert fan fiction.
Yep.
And then we spoke to Deku, and it was nothing like that. He was giving us like in-depth character analysis on Bakugo and Deku's friendship,
but
in third person. He was like, yeah, they're really good friends, and I was like, they? And then we talked to Anthony Bridgerton, and he
wanted to kiss so
bad.
That
was all he wanted to do. And I was like, what about Kate though? And he was like, what about her? And I was like, what? So
yeah,
it's been an interesting journey. Like, I guess it depends on who created them, but like Todoroki very much felt geared towards like your average high school kid or somebody who wants to stick to that kind of energy. Like flirting was like in his wheelhouse, but not well, or something he tended to want to do. Whereas like homie Anthony spent all of his time staking visual claim on your body. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Deku was just confused, obviously.
He was astral projecting. I don't know.
I guess.
It's like, they're really cool. Them?
You?
But yeah, he introduced himself.
Yeah,
he was like, hi, they're very good friends. It was odd. It also depends on, I've never created a character on there, so I don't really know what all goes into that.
Right.
But I know that I'm sure there's a lot that you can tweak. I think that'd be interesting. If I ever like wanted to take the time to do that, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
To like create
a character
to
speak to.
Yeah, I mean, but it'd be based on a character that already exists. I guess it doesn't have to. I don't know. I don't know how those characters come to be that are on there. If it's like literally from the ground up. Like they have to.
Well, the voices have to come from somewhere though.
Like I said, I think that's a pretty new feature, like within the last few months. So I don't know how that became. Also, I'm like, is that legal? I guess it's legal.
I don't know.
But like, especially those ones that are like anime characters where it's like, that is voice acting. I'm like, maybe you should
not.
I don't know. Not even not. Just like, maybe you should reach out to those people and be like, you want to pay them to do this? Maybe? I don't know. You know, that's what I think about. I'm like, that's their whole job.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing that. Not that it's not great. It's still kind of clunky.
Some are definitely better than others.
Yeah. IMAs.
Yeah, we looked up Ayame Soma, and you know, the English dub of Ayame Soma is the great and brilliant Christopher Sabat. And this was like,
I don't know what it
Honey
was.
Senpai on...
Yeah, it was weird.
It was not it. I was like,
yeah.
No. And specifically English dub Honey Senpai. Although Japanese, like, sub Honey Senpai is also really high and squeaky too.
That makes sense. I mean,
you've heard it. I played you that one song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do remember that. Also, this is a great time to remind you, if you haven't seen Fruits Basket,
freaking watch it.
It's some of the best media I've ever consumed.
She's so welcome.
And I
say that like I wrote it myself.
This is my personal...
I'm actually just savior.
I have never, I think, watched anything better in my life than that. It's so good. Guys, you simply have to... Not even just for yourselves, but really do it for me. Because specifically, if you're a fan fiction writer, do it for me. Because I need you to write some fan fiction desperately.
And you know what? The crazy news is it does not have to be this so-and-so / so-and-so. You can just give us fluff. Just wholesome,
yeah,
family-centered fluff. Found family to the extreme.
They need it.
It will be fully consumed. Enemies to brothers, Yuki and Kyo.
Oh, yeah.
I would consume so hard. Because we got enemies to brothers with Yuki and Ayame. Basically.
So cute. Just go watch it, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Yuki and Manabe enemies to lovers? Wait, brothers.
Huh?
Wait. My entire mouth got lost.
Manabe. So good.
Hey,
Yeah.
Union.
Hey, Union. Oh, what's up, Union? I love him. Actually, I would hate him in person, but I love him.
That's because you're not dealing with him in person. He's a character, and you're like, this would piss me off, but this is great for Union.
Yeah.
Union.
I started rewatching. I haven't even finished it, guys. We have season 3 left.
No spoilers in the comments.
No spoilers in the comments. Not like this will be posted before it's finished. Whatever.
It's fine.
I started rewatching it with my roommate because I'm in love with it. It was so cute because, she's new to anime and all that stuff. And the guys at school started calling Kyo. They were like, Kyon Kyon. And she was like, Kyon Kyon.
Perfect.
I was like, I can't wait to get an orange cabbie. Name. An orange tabby and name it Kyon Kyon.
And then she get a gray cat and name it Union.
Union. Anyway.
Hey, Union. There you are, Union.
Don't call me Union.
Princess.
Oh my gosh, the one brain cell is so...
That Manabe never has. It's with his half sister. I don't know what she's using the brain cell for, but she's using it somehow. She's got lots of thoughts, apparently.
And we're not going to spoil it for you.
I actually can't discuss this at all.
Yeah, because I haven't finished the show.
We shouldn't be talking about this period.
We should be talking about a period because we have a whole other fanfiction that we said we were going to talk about and have yet to do.
Because actually today we're going to be covering the next 7 chapters of On Punching Gods and Absentee Dads. On this episode of Fanfics and Friends! We nailed that for once in our lives. That was so good.
Okay, guys.
We're back to this.
We're back.
Hope you didn't get lost.
Let me pull out my dissertation.
Starting with chapter 8.
Yeah.
Thoughts, opinions, feelings?
I just think that it was a missed opportunity to not have Loki be a bad dad and Steve or Tony or Thor or somebody have to I think it's crazy that Loki has immediately is like, I'm gonna be a good dad. I don't know. Do you know what
Well, the drama is though, yes, as Loki specifically, I totally understand why he wouldn't.
But as James.
But technically he's James. And he had his whole entire other life that he doesn't remember being Loki, right? For part of it. So he has a whole other subset personality that's usually probably buried really deep. But this is James and Lily's son. This isn't just Loki's son.
Okay.
This is, right? So I'm not saying he should be as good at it right off the bat as he should be.
Which is not great.
But I also don't think she would dad him nearly as much.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason he is dadding him as much is, as we'll see, it kind of pisses Harry off.
Right.
So I think she put it in there specifically so that they would have a tension point. Because in the later, I don't know if it's this chapter, I don't remember honestly which chapter was what.
It's like 2
But the chapter with the racing, that when he goes flying.
Yeah, it's the next chapter.
Right? That's a tension point. Right. Because sometimes Loki dads him and sometimes Loki doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. And it pisses him off
both
times. Both ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, why does Harry care so much about Thor's tantrums?
That's a good question.
Why does he care so much off the bat about
I don't know.
Thor?
It doesn't make any sense to me in the sense of
his character.
Why would he care about Thor? He doesn't know Thor.
Right.
And it's not like he has good experience with family members anyway, other than Sirius, who's dead.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he cares about Thor right off the bat. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an author choice specifically to motivate Loki as a parent because Thor...
The rivalry.
Thor is almost a a better, in Loki's eyes, a better father figure than he is, because him and Harry seem to have a really good relationship despite only just meeting.
Yeah.
As we see in the next chapter with the racing. And when they're talking about the basilisk, whether that was in the past or I don't remember when that is.
Yeah.
But he tells them about the Chamber of Secrets, and Thor is like nodding in all the right parts, and Loki's like freaking out, and Thor's like, you can't do that, bro.
Yeah.
I think it is just an other choice so that they have that camaraderie that Loki is jealous of. You know, I don't actually think it would happen that quickly at all.
Like for Harry is like a character.
No.
Normally.
No. Thor, maybe. Because I feel like Thor would meet random family members at any given time.
But with the whole retelling of that story with Thor, that was really cute though. Thor being so impressed
Yes.
with his story. I was like, that's very on character. He would be like, yes,
you did kill that
you
basilisk.
did.
Oh. Yes.
It was so cute, but it was also so sad to see sad Loki. Oh, he's so awkward. He's so bad. He's so bad at being a dad in some ways. And not the ways that I thought he'd be bad. Like in another fic, Loki is an absentee father. Like if it was just Loki, he would not be a good father.
Well, because he's James.
But because he's James, he's trying. He's just bad at it.
In what ways did you think he would be a bad dad?
If it was just Loki, I think he would be like either super emotionally absent,
Very detached,
or just straight up like abusive, depending on what spectrum of Loki we're talking about. Like, we're talking about 2012, or if we're talking about,
Okay.
you know, I don't know, TVA. But I think mostly it would be like an emotional detachment because he never had that with Odin. Or I guess he could go the opposite way.
Well, him and Hela, his mom, what's his
Frigga.
name? I was like, what's her name? Who is she?
Hela?
Hela's his sister. I was like, that's wrong. What the hell am I
That's
thinking?
true.
Right? Because, don't they have a really good relationship, him and his mom?
Here, also, it could depend on what the gender of the child is. I could see him being a really
Good
girl dad
girl dad?
and a really
Shit.
Wow.
boy dad. Yeah. Yeah. I could see him being really overprotective, maybe,
Of a girl?
of a girl. Yeah, not necessarily a good girl dad, but just like
A
very
better
involved.
girl dad than a better boy.
Than a boy dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think his dad instincts hone to him being James.
Yes.
He pulls probably only a little from his real Loki-ness,
Mm-hmm.
which does make it interesting.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost like you're dealing with like split personality
a little.
Kind of, yeah. I did say in chapter 9, I said this dad-son relationship is stressing me out.
I love that they go see Ron for help, though.
That?
Well, and what's so funny is...
that he helps them.
No, that's not funny. Ron would probably do anything for Harry. He would not be nearly as calm about it at first at all.
Right.
He would be pissed off for Harry so much and probably would not want to speak to Loki. Eventually, Ron would totally help them, but not that quickly. They approach it like, Ron, you know about Harry, tell me about it. And Ron would not know what to do with that. Like, Ron...
Like the directness?
No, Ron's smart, but not in a clear way. And, like, if you asked him to... Like, you'd have to slither in the shit out of it and, like, get him to, like, reveal more information than, like...
Like, he's just not an open book like that.
No, and nor is he emotionally intelligent enough to understand the nuance of what I think
Yeah, were they
Loki would be asking.
16?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
at 16, Ron really, in the books at least, is stupid. He's a smart kid, very strategy-oriented, and would very much still understand Harry to this depth, but it would not be a, this is my problem, can you help me solve it? Yeah, here's the solution. It would be a much longer, wrought-out conversation where it would probably be Thor and Loki discussing it, and Ron would just say something random off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, oh, that was really wise of you, actually. You know?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting conversation.
I thought it was crazy. They just rolled up.
They just popped over to the
They were
Weasleys.
like, yeah, we gotta go.
Hey, Ron?
That's not the craziest thing that happens, though, because these plot points moving at the speed of light.
Yes.
It was so fast. I was like, okay, we're having like a little contest. I was like, we have a contest. Okay, he's a bad dad. We're gonna go talk to Ron. Sirius is alive? What?
No, like, well, and what's so funny to me is it's not like a let's plan this out conversation.
It never is.
Loki's like, let's make sure you're healthy enough to do this, and then let's skedaddle and
We
get
gotta
my
go.
best friend.
Is that very James of him?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know because you
James isn't a real person.
didn't read the Marauders.
No, I did not raid all the young dudes. But I feel like the several things we know about James Potter in the books, I do think he would lack impulse control. Like
Harry.
I do believe that of him. But because he is a grown adult with, like, when we hear about James, most of what we hear about James is from when he's in his teens.
Right.
He dies as a 20-something. Mm-hmm. So it's not as though he has a whole bunch of years under his belt that we just don't know about. Mm. But I do think, despite the fact that Loki does not reminisce on his time as James Potter once he's Loki again, I feel like because the way she writes it, all his years of wisdom would apply. Mm. So whatever wisdom Loki does have would compound with James Potter wisdom.
As if he was that age.
And he would take more time to think.
Yeah. Also, Loki is strategic.
Right.
He also wouldn't do that.
No, he would not just run into it.
No.
He would be like, we need to save Sirius. But then it would be, let's decide how to do this. What's the best way possible? We need to look into this arch because it is unstable magic.
Yeah.
We cannot just leap through it. So I thought that was interesting. Also, I think Sirius's reaction to James is very interesting.
Being mad at him?
Yes. Because Sirius is in this weird world being chased by zombie figures or whatever with weird spooky ghosts. Mm-hmm. I don't think he would be angry at seeing another...
Well, it doesn't look like James.
Does it not?
Is he shapeshifting?
I don't know. Hold on.
I don't remember.
What chapter is that?
I think it's
A Trip Down the Rabbit Hole or Veil Around the Starlight?
Try to veil around the starlight.
Okay, confirmed? Well, not exactly confirmed that, like... Lord, I need to stop saying that word. That Loki shows up looking like James, but...
He recognizes him.
Yeah, Loki steps into the light, we'll call it. Sirius is like, no, Harry, don't get near that. The fog tricks you, makes you see things that aren't real. Don't get near it.
Right.
Which implies that it looks enough like James for him to assume it's James.
Sure.
To which then Harry says, Padfoot, it's really Dad. He's been alive the whole time. I found him on Earth, not here. And then Sirius punches him in the face and breaks his nose again. I feel like Sirius would be in shock, not angry at first. You know, like, he wouldn't believe Harry like that. Harry going, oh, it's not him. I came with him. And he'd be like, Harry, how long have you been here looking for me?
Right.
You know, for Harry to be like, no, for real, it's him. They talk enough that Sirius believes him. And then Sirius would probably, or he'd like go through a mental breakdown and be like, what do you mean? Like, I saw your dead body. Like, you know? And then he would get mad when he's like, no, I didn't die. Like, I left that body into a different body. For him to be like, oh, so you did abandon. Like, you know, I feel like it would just take longer than it did.
Makes sense. But we've already established that things move fast in this particular. That's just the writing, I think.
Yeah. And a lot of things do or don't happen because the author wishes to speed up the story. I'm assuming her gender, by the way. It could be a dude.
Them.
It.
It.
They. The author. From now on forever. The author. Oh, there's a bug on my wall.
Oh. Okay. How do you feel about the nickname Starlight?
I do not think it makes any sense for Harry.
To be called Starlight.
Yeah. He's not a black with a name that is literally a constellation. That would make sense. Instead, he's a Potter. And
right.
I don't stop. Loki would have had a nickname for him as James Potter that would have made sense for James Potter and Loki. And I feel like Starlight doesn't fit both of those people.
Well, he wouldn't have had one that would... Oh, because he did know he was Loki. Duh.
Right.
At that point, yes.
At that point, he would know he's Loki, but he would pick a nickname that fits both because he was both.
Yeah. I'm a pet name hater. That's really where it comes from for me, is that it has to be very specific. I don't like pet names. Like, just call them their name. Don't be weird.
Or like Son.
Yeah.
Call me Son one more time. I mean... We just talked about this.
Son would be fine. I would think, and I think that's in character also.
Son.
That it's very, like, formal and respectful, and that...
My Severitis fic, he calls Harry or Son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly Harry, but makes sense for the fic.
Yeah.
I do love that Sirius calls Harry Pup.
That makes sense for him, though.
Spent almost 12 years as a dog.
Right.
And it's very in character, I feel like, for him to do that.
He seems like a nickname person.
Yeah.
I guess that's what
And Loki does not.
Loki seems like a last name basis person.
And I feel like James wasn't really a Like, yeah,
Wow.
they had nicknames in the Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs sense.
That's different than.
But what would you call Remus other than Remus? I feel like the answer is in All the Young Dudes, but I'll never know.
You can drop it in the comments because we'll never read it.
Oh my gosh. Was it you that sent me a TikTok that was these two girls discussing something? And they were talking about Remus being shipped with somebody, and she was like, who is that?
Oh, yeah.
And the other girl was like, he's from All the Young Dudes.
No, she was like, it's an OC. And she's like, well, of course it's an OC. Who's Edward? Or Eric.
But it was an OC from All the Young Dudes. And I was like,
but that was like so popular that it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's really popular.
It is. And I know some names that are used in it now. I don't know if they originated in All the Young Dudes or if they were technically before All the Young Dudes in Marauder fanfiction fandom area, like Marlene and stuff. I don't know the order in which they appeared. Because some of the names are actually from like Darlene and then McKinnon. They're from, I think some of them are direct references from the 5th book. Because there's a photograph that Harry's handed with a bunch of order members, and at some point somebody goes through the names.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting.
I would be interested. It's about time for something new to that caliber. Do you know what I mean? Like Harry Potter is if we're talking specifically in the fanfiction world, it is like a staple. And even with the whole Marauders thing.
Yeah.
It created its own subsect of fanfiction. And I was like, is there gonna be anything
that matches it in I don't know.
And is it gonna be ACOTAR? I don't think so, actually.
No?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I haven't read it, so
I've only gotten like, I don't know, a quarter through the first book. I'm reading it really slowly, more like slower than I would like to be, but I'm just.
What's interesting to me is I feel like another really big staple, not in fan fiction, but in the same people group that really enjoy Harry Potter and Harry Potter fan fiction and Harry Potter lore and that kind of stuff, is the people who really enjoyed, or the same kind of people who really enjoyed The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the difference between, not that I've read it, so correct me, between ACOTAR and Harry Potter / Lord of the Rings is it's fae over standard witch magic. You know, like Lord of the Rings is very, it's not fae though. It is definitely fantasy, but it's not fae.
I would say the bigger difference, like that was mostly a joke, because I think the bigger difference is that, I haven't finished them, so there could be a lot more plot, but I know for sure that there is romance. And that is not the point.
Of either of those other two.
Either
That's
of those
true.
other two.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
They are adventure
I think
stories.
we're missing, I guess. What is the next adventure story that's going to take over? Because right now we're just rehashing. I mean, even like Percy Jackson, we're just redoing what's already been done. So is there going to be another big adventure that people just go crazy? Because I would say the last.
Not that Harry Potter's exactly an adventure, but it is a long-standing plot that has miniature subplots that all connect really well, that do not have to do, that are not centered on the main character finding the love of their life or whatever. Again, this might be slandering ACOTAR, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll know in 6 years when I finish all the books, I guess, at this rate.
Because I feel like the Chronicle of Narnia, not that it got as big as either of those two things, but it's just a long-standing plot of adventure of a bunch of different subsets.
But I'm trying to think of anything currently being written right now, or in the last, even 5-10 years, that is just adventure. And
outside of anime, I don't know.
Outside of anime.
Mangas.
Yeah.
Which don't get followings because they're often not considered proper. Much like fanfiction, tragedy.
Fake of everybody. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. And again, in the fanfiction world, it's so. I mean, Harry Potter just blows everything out of the water. Like, it's still inactive. People still write about it.
Right, it and Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin. Yeah.
Which is different,
and Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel is interesting though, because I mean, it's just got so much more content than anything. Like, it has so much content. Because you have
such a wide range.
Yeah. There's thousands of characters. And of course, if you're focusing just on Avengers 2012 or whatever, then that's a little bit more narrowed, but that's a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to look up another one. Okay, so works in Harry Potter, like J.K. Rowling specifically, is 513,763. Oh, whoa, let's spell. There we go. We'll go with Marvel Cinematic Universe as a starting point. Actually, more.
Oh, not by much, though.
No?
By like...
No, by 60,000.
Told me I was like, oh, it's only like 30.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But...
there's so many more characters. You don't know.
Well, and there's so many more movies to write plot on.
Yeah.
I guess it depends. I guess.
But even that, just if you're on X or Twitter or whatever, or listening to the media about that, like, people are losing interest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, that's been a thing.
Harry Potter ain't going nowhere.
And yeah, Harry Potter, even with the Fantastic Beasts movie, like...
Actually, forget that. With Cursed Child. That that book was not well received by most of the community. Now, I know the play was redone in a way, and people still like it. It's still on Broadway doing well. I don't know.
Yeah, Marvel is not doing well.
Great. It's kind of like Star Wars.
Yes, that was crazy. I don't know if that was crazy or not, because I watched those as a kid and I really liked them. But I don't know if they were actually popular. No, I think they were in the early 2000s. That was a really big deal.
No, they were very popular, but with the new stuff coming out, it's been very up and down for them.
I think they just oversaturated it. Too much of a good thing is not
good
all
the time. Yeah,
you get tired of it.
Ooh.
Oh, woo. Hey,
I don't know if they heard that though. We're moving on.
What's up? And I was like, you want to open that can of worms? Because I do have thoughts on that.
Okay, we got a chapter we got a section of this thing to finish talking about.
Okay.
Focus.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, Starlight, I don't know how I feel about that name. I don't know. Weird. I thought the armor thing was cute.
Oh, yeah. There's something later, because I've already read half this fic. There's something later that's super cute. It involves, like, fire and magic. And it's the same kind of thing. It's like a rite of passage situation. That's so sweet. It's so sweet.
I make you cry. Okay. So the plot shifts again because we've read a chapter, and
you're not wrong.
We have left the. Oh, we're gonna talk to them about.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like, if you're reading along with us, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. If you're not reading along with us, at some point before they find Sirius, or maybe after they found Sirius and they're looking for a way out, Harry is semi-alone, surrounded by fog, and somebody's speaking to him. Like a female is speaking to him about the danger to come and how it's coming for him, and he has no idea what's gonna happen, and he's not gonna be prepared for it, and he will fail. And there is no way it's not Hela.
Yeah. I think so, for sure.
There's no way it's not her.
Ragnarok, for sure.
Oh, they're bringing Ragnarok and
Voldemort, I guess?
Yes. Because, did we get to the arcade thing? No, that already happened. That already happened. So yeah, the arcade thing already happened.
Yeah, the Death Eaters come into the arcade.
Yeah, and I am intrigued, because Hela is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She's the next section after 2012.
Yes. Yeah,
she's in the same section technically as Thanos.
I don't know. Ooh, are they gonna go that far?
I don't know.
Well, that's another thing. I'm interested now. So you've read more. So I guess you can maybe attest to that. So we're about to move on from the fog, where we may or may not have just spoken with Hela, and then we go to Asgard.
Yep.
And we're introduced to all these characters. I'm like, okay, do the Avengers come back to are they coming back into this, or like Steve and Tony and like Hawkeye? Like, what part are we playing in this, or are we at all?
So they do go back to Earth with like the Avengers. They go back to Avengers Tower, because the thing I was talking about that's really sweet happens in Avengers Tower. I don't remember all the details since I read half this fic a while ago.
Yeah.
But they definitely do go back to Avengers Tower, and they have to, because Hermione's going to be there, right? And so it wouldn't make sense if they didn't roll back up. Also, like, New York comes into play as like a state. Like, the government comes into play.
Like SHIELD kind of stuff?
Nope, not like that at all.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But they definitely do end up in New York, and New York is a major, like, it is where it is based.
It's happening.
This journey to Asgard is brief and mostly about
Odin.
Harry.
Freya.
Yes, and Harry being a demigod, basically. Right, because it's sacrilegious.
Yes. Yeah, it's very... Odin.
Bro, what was that chapter called? The chapter was the funniest thing ever.
Something bag of dicks.
Yeah, hold on, I'll tell you. A one-eyed bag of dicks.
Yeah.
Is how Harry describes Odin. They have this whole... I do think that conversation is interesting, and it would not go that way in any shape or form ever. If Odin...
I don't think he would have left the room with him. I don't think he would have taken the time to have a one-on-one conversation with Harry.
No, he would have just destroyed him in public in front of people, only for Harry to just rage, because Harry always rages.
Yeah. Also, Loki in that whole...
Yep, weird.
I was like, what are we doing?
And if we're following true fanfiction fashion, Odin would have dressed him down in front of everybody, and Harry would have done some accidental magic like he did earlier. That's what would have happened. Like, Odin would have freaked the out. That's what would have actually happened.
Frigga, though? Very
on. Yes, she was perfect. She was perfect.
Yeah.
So we just have beef with everybody but her.
I always have beef with Odin, though.
That's because Odin is a one-eyed bag of dicks.
Yeah. Odin hater. I feel about Odin how you feel about Dumbledore. You can never make me like him.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Neither are you.
Yeah. He's just such... I guess he's just an opportunist, really.
He doesn't treat people like people. He treats them like things, and it's gross.
Like pieces in a game.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which Loki has some of that. And Thor does too. Let us not forget. Guys, I don't think Thor is a good guy. Okay, maybe I don't completely think that. I think he's perceived as a bad guy, though. And I want somebody to write a fic about him being a bad brother. Because he is. And then they can make up enemies to brothers. Like true half brothers to enemies to brothers.
Well, no, they were enemies as half brothers.
Yeah, that's true. Enemies to brothers.
Because that's what the Marvel Cinematic movies did. They were enemies to brothers.
Yes, kind of. It could have been more. Actually, I'll never know.
They were getting there.
I'll never know. I didn't watch the end of the Loki series.
Yeah,
they were getting there.
They were getting there, and then Loki dies in whatever the hell that movie is, and I was pissed about it.
Yeah, Endgame?
No, literally.
It was the opening scene, girl!
Well, no, yeah, but like the end of the movie prior, right, is Loki rolling up to the ship and Thor not thinking he would, but he did.
And they have a whole moment.
Yes! And then he immediately dies! I was like,
because that's on that ship.
Yeah, it's
that
the same
scene
ship.
takes place on that. Yeah, it's like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, it's just 2 movies apart. Like a movie apart.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I was like, okay, wait. Not only are you only giving Tom 3 seconds of screen time, how freaking dare you? This is Tom.
Honestly, slay for him. He got that bag. He was only on screen for like 4 seconds, and I'm sure he made a lot of money.
But ultimate rage, because the brothership could have gone further.
I know. It makes me so... But then he wasn't dead again, so... I don't know if
I don't know how the timeline works. I've not watched Loki.
But you watched the...
Controversy of 2024. Madison has not seen Loki the series at all.
I would watch up until the last couple episodes with you.
Nah, we got more important things to watch. Like free.
We gotta watch those anime boys swim. That's the utmost importance.
Honestly, they barely swim that entire show. Most of the time they're taking off their shirts. It's hilarious. They're taking off their shirts and being angsty.
That's my vibe. That's it. I don't know that I have any
more thoughts.
Not really. Other than I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see how they develop Loki as a father. Also how this ends.
I don't know.
Like, what is the major? There's gonna have to be a battle. And how many chapters are there?
Whoa. I'm not me reading the chapter titles. So intrigued. Chapter 56 is the last chapter. And it's titled 1 Year Later. But the chapter before that has an interesting title. Do you want to know?
No.
Tragedy.
No, yeah, just tell me.
A Royal Wedding.
Okay.
I have a good guess, but I'm not telling you what it is. Because the chapter titles basically tell you before, so I'm not telling you. Honestly, I'm just here to see where Draco Malfoy shows up, because I know he does.
That's the Royal Wedding.
Between who and who?
Harry and Draco. Duh.
Right.
Ian.
All right. You shipping Monabe and Yuki? Is that your official guess for Yuki's love life at the end of the show?
Is it he falls in love with Monabe? No, I think he falls in love with his half-sister.
I don't remember her name, which sucks, all things considered, because they said her name like a bunch of times.
I love Monabe. I love his character. I don't want them to get together. No,
me either. I like their friendship. Their friendship is so great.
I want them to like live together forever as
all of them, just everybody,
platonic soulmates. Yeah, I want every single one of them to live together, and I want a fan fiction about it released every week so I can read about it
forever and ever and ever.
Forever and ever and ever. Guys, I think we were talking about this the other day. Oh, no, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my other friend that reads fan fiction. I was like, what if I'm, 80-something years old, like holding on to life because I'm waiting on a chapter update? Can you imagine?
You think you're going to be fighting for your life at 80 years old?
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Sorry, 96? I don't know.
Much better.
Fighting for my life,
Bitch,
waiting
who else
for
am I going to be with at 96 years old?
I'm gonna be like, please, update before I die. That's literally me waiting on this one fan.
Author's note.
Hey.
Commenting under the author's note.
So
listen,
I have
babe,
like 4 days left to live.
Can you please
Send me the rough draft.
like, here's my email.
Here's my whatever it'll be at that point. Download it into my brain. I don't
Yeah. You just scan it in.
know. Yeah.
Be like,
QR code.
thanks for that.
Oh. Ooh. That was me reading mentally fan fiction.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what I got. I guess next we'll read the next 7 or 8.
Chat. Seven.
And
Seven. I don't know. This song that starts with 7. 1776.
oh, the Hamilton reference.
It's the second one. The second one in this episode.
In this episode?
Yeah, I made one earlier.
I didn't even catch
Didn't I?
I don't think you did.
I think I did. I referenced a musical then.
All I'm thinking about is the AI cover of Pink Pony Club with Clayton.
No, I swear I made a reference to Hamilton earlier.
I don't know.
Me either.
Whatever.
Oh well.
Losing your mind.
Well, folks, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Bye.